second meeting at 6:01. If I can get a approval of the agenda at this time.
Motion to approve, Chairman.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
I have it. Mr. Graham, will you do the honors for us tonight?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we gather here today to serve you in the affairs of Jones County government. May we accept our responsibilities, act with courage, and uphold our duties as leaders. Grant us the sense of justice and wise stewardship, both now and forever. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. Before we start our planning and zoning tonight, and before Mr. Petrowski comes in, if anybody's here in opposition to this request, you'll get opportunity to speak. Mr. Petrowski?
Chairman, both our items this evening are related. The issue is different for them, but they're both tied together. Recommend that we discuss item C1 first. If that gets approved, then we can discuss item P. Item C1 is a request to allow a variance to allow an additional lot on a substandard private road. This property is located at 126.5 Points Road, approximately 43 acres in size. Because this is a variance, there is not a recommendation from the planning commission.
Okay, is the applicant here at this time? Is the applicant here tonight? All right, is there anybody here in opposition to this request tonight? Come, you go. Come forward and give us your name and your address.
All right, Craig Amos on 145 Points Road. I just want to request a little more information on what's going on over there, where they're, requesting to put it in at on the roadway going into it, to figure out what that roadway is. What it's established as, is it a private road, is it an easement, the access to the property.
Mr. Petrowski, is there anything you can answer?
And-
I have no interest on that. I have no information.
And if we can't come up with it tonight, can we do some more research to see what that is of going in to it?
What's currently there now? You're in the area. What's currently there now, or is there anything there?
Well, it's a road going in. The road that's going in is, I guess they're listing as a private road, but I don't see how it's called a private road or what it is. It goes across like 4 properties going back to this other property. But I'm trying to figure out where it was established that it was that road to go there with access. The properties back there has an access to the other roadway. So what gave that the right of way to go through there and who established it? You know what I'm saying? It's been like since 14 years that I've been there, but I've never pushed the issue
Right.
until now comes up. There is somebody going in and out of it, but I've never pushed that issue.
Right.
Until now, until we're requiring some more travel in there. It's like, it goes like right in the back of my garage, basically.
Right.
And I own 9.5 acres there, and this is like over 100 yards through my property. And it's a, I don't know if you call it access easement or what it is. I just,
Does it show it on your deed
I
anywhere?
don't see it nowhere. I mean, I need to go look again and make sure I hadn't researched it like that, 'cause I'm a little bit around the but I need to see what that is before we make a ruling, if I could, is what I was trying to get at. To see what's the eligibility of being able to drive through there, I know it's been being done, but who okayed it to be done, and who, if it was landlocked, I get it, I understand landlocked, but was it landlocked and was it not turned loose when they gained access years and years ago, and they just decided they want to, keep riding through it now? That's what I want to figure out.
Is this property landlocked currently? Do you know, Tim?
It is.
It is
There's
landlocked?
no frontage on a publicly maintained road.
But when you go back to where that property was done, just say if it was 10 years ago, when it was all together, and they divided it up between a family that had the property, supposedly, I don't know all my facts, I want to make sure, but this was bought out and they deeded this to this property. This had an access, why didn't they give it here in order to get rid of it, still come through me? See what I'm saying? Who
Right.
made that rule just to,
And that's,
if this your family's property and I'm gonna sell it to my sister or whoever, I don't know all the details, I should have to give her access, not go through full property to get there. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Makes sense to me now.
right. And that's not yeah, it makes sense, but
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, 'cause you're the one making the money off the property.
Right.
It's your deal why do you get to still run through all mine, you know? I put up privacy fence, it don't really
It's not
bother me,
having
but
to
yeah.
do private attorney research the deed records. That's not a
You wanna-
county
you wanna-
issue.
I mean, that would be something that he would need to do. I mean, something this board can't do.
That's
Right.
right, it's not a county issue.
Right,
He
county-
needs to, you need to retain a private attorney to
That's what I'm
research the
saying, is that what-
deeds.
that's what I can do, that's,
Right.
that's what I'm getting, that's what I'm requesting tonight,
Sure.
I guess.
Because they need to research the conveyances to see at what point that easement was created. It may be a
Right.
prescriptive easement.
Right.
Which means they just use it for so long, they
That it-
sort of claim it as an easement.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but
Yeah.
does that, I'm not saying ask you, does that stick, but will that stick, or is it what it, how does that get ruled on?
It can stick,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, so that's what I kinda wanna figure out.
yeah.
Like I said, I ain't saying it was a really big deal to me at the beginning, like, I just kinda went with it, and now we're starting to want to put some more deal back there, so now my concern raises now, that's where I'm at with it.
There are a couple local attorneys that do
Right.
primarily real estate.
Yeah.
Just call one of them,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's why I was kinda just suggesting that tonight, so if, I don't know if y'all were gonna rule on it or what we were gonna do, so I'm kinda putting my input that I'm kinda in a concern of it a little bit, so we can figure out which way we can head on it.
Okay.
I don't know if they're gonna give me a few days to go through my deal, or wanna, you know, put a motion to move for a minute, or however you wanna do it.
The board's got any questions for?
I do. I'm asking Jason to pull it up because I understand what you're saying. And as I look at what we have, it looks like it does traverse a couple of properties. I don't know if this is your property or not, but I'm assuming zoning and planning doesn't give somebody a right to do something on somebody else's property. So legally, I think this board is acting based on the property owner. And I'm not going to go any further than that because I don't have any legal representation beyond
Right.
that
That's right.
statement.
The request is just related to that property and the usage. How they're transversing another property really has nothing to do with us.
with
He
this
needs
matter,
to
Right.
meet with
That's what I'm
them.
saying,
Right.
I'm trying to make some, I'm trying to come in and throw a little bit of a, let's see what's going on with my deal before it gets that far, I guess is what I'm saying.
And that's where this board doesn't get involved in, as the attorney said, that would be you getting a attorney.
It's an unrelated matter, really.
I'm sorry?
It's like an unrelated matter.
Right,
How they
that's right.
travel in and
I,
out.
you know, if you want to get after the meeting, Ms. Brody would be more than happy to give you some idea, some people in this county that could do that for you,
Right,
if you don't have somebody already.
yeah, okay,
All right,
that's all I got, I just wanna
Right.
note that on there.
anyone else here tonight in opposition? The applicant's not here tonight, correct? All right. Do we need to vote on this and then do the second one, or hear both of them?
So when, the next request, when it discusses a substandard private road though,
Yeah.
the,
Yeah,
We're doing
the road doesn't touch it, right?
We're discussing C1 right now.
the second one, which has the
Right.
road on
And that
it,
is the
yeah.
private road.
That's the one with,
And we don't know the status of that access to the property, don't know if it's an easement, it might be an abandoned old roadway, I don't know.
Okay, well, that, there you go.
so does that make a difference in our discussion? I mean,
That would be your judgment call. This is a substandard private road, it doesn't meet our definition of a private road, so it's substandard.
it's just my opinion, Chairman, I don't have an issue with the access or with C1 or P1, but I do have a little bit of reservation about saying we approve something if there's not legal access to it. I mean, I know that's a separate issue, but it's almost saying we approve trespassing. Because if it's not a road, we're gonna have an issue that we're in the middle of.
is this something we can postpone for another meeting?
I was gonna say, can it wait till the next meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, we
give
better
them
table
time
it or
to-
postpone it, in your legal opinion.
Table comes back up in the same meeting, so
Okay,
it would have to be
postpone is
postponed.
what we need to do
If
then.
I get a motion to postpone both items tonight for the next meeting so the applicant can bring us or the,
And if you want to have whoever you contact for your attorney, contact me, so that I can make sure the board has the information that you all discover prior to them making a decision on this.
And somebody help me with this part, because I see the property lines clearly, right? And it looks like this dotted line follows where the properties abut each other in the ends. But again, I don't know right-of-way rule with regard to who gave who gave who that right to cross all of those
They need to
properties.
search the deeds.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not for us to do.
Right.
I agree, but to Sam's point, and this is what my concern was, I didn't want to give the
We need to make
impression.
sure they have legal access before we
Right.
go saying they have legal access.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so
Thank you.
motion to,
Motion to postpone item P1 and C1 until the next meeting, Chairman, for more information.
Second.
second, any more discussion? None? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Ham. All right, as we move on tonight, we move on to the consent agenda and approval of minutes. We had our third Tuesday of July 19th, along with the joint government meeting on July 27th. Y'all had opportunity to review the minutes. If there are no changes, I entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, move on. Mr. Risner, we move on to new business tonight. Rates. Should we
Yes, sir,
have the
Mr.
city come forward?
Yeah,
Maybe the city here tonight? Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, you want to come forward?
Yes, sir.
We're going to put you on the spot tonight.
That's right. Wow, I told you I'd be here next when we come out and speak, because you know, let me just tell you about last night.
Last night, yeah, that's why it helped.
As you know, city met last night. We took up a vote on hoping to resolve at 19.5% for the entire 10 years. It passed unanimously. And come tonight just hoping that to find y'all agreeable to that.
Any questions for Mayor Pro Tem? Have you got anything else, Mr. Risner? What's the board's wishes?
Make a motion that we, let's see, were we approving, so we just got it as distribution rate. Make a motion that we enter into agreement over the next 10 years for lost distribution rates at 19.5% for the 10 years.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Any discussion? Yeah, if I didn't know if you had, I was waiting.
Oh, well, you know where I was, so y'all agreed to go to the higher number?
1.5% higher.
Okay.
I'm leaving.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm opposed, you know where I am. so-
Okay, all right. I'm giving you the discussion part, but.
Oh, I mean, I'm sorry. So the reason why I oppose was because we do have some projects coming up, and in particular, the courthouse is one of those. So if we have participation from the city on that, I would be like, yeah, let's do it. But, you know, we're talking, I don't know, is the courthouse about 7 million, maybe? 8 to 10?
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. So let's call it 10 to 12, post-COVID. And those are the things that I look at viewing those resources for, because we don't normally get a bunch of city participation. I missed the meeting, and I would have asked for that in the meeting. Hey, you guys want to kick in X%? And if the city was agreeable, then I'd be like, yes, let's do it. But because those types of projects, along with water and sewer, that the county provides across the county, that also impacts the city in most positive and beneficial ways, and we don't get a lot of participation there, that's why I'm opposed. So,
All right.
And, sorry.
Go ahead, sure.
I was just gonna say, I understand I'm not familiar with the courthouse project
Yeah.
specifically on the numbers, et cetera, but as you know, the city as well, one of the big things we brought up this year is we've become responsible for a lot more roadway, but with use, wear and tear within the city, we've got the second most, for GDOT, the second most intricate, light system right there at the railroad, where it's like a 7-way. That we've become responsible for. That system alone is $500,000. The 0.5% will certainly help us take care of some of that as we hope to get more and Elmeg to it in the future, since we've become responsible for so much roadway. I think you'll see too a big growth coming up. We talked about in the city over the next few years. We've got developers who come to us with several plans to build additional homes, including Piedmont has started phase 3. And it goes back to, I know I've said this to you 100 times, that a strong, successful city helps the county and vice versa.
Yeah.
So we just have to, that additional just help us out with some of that.
I understand.
But I appreciate your point as well. I know that there's, and I hope we do look together to work on some of the future. Me and John were talking about the other nights of projects. I think that maybe would be some worth looking at in the future for the city and county.
Very well, appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Appreciate all of you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Time for the decision. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
All Aye. All right, 4-1. All right, thank you very much. Move on. Special presentation, Mr. Seal?
All right,
Oh,
he's
he's
going to
online.
join us on Zoom. Give me just 1 second here.
It's a pleasure.
Okay. Was that him? Okay.
Is this our new technology at work? Huh? Are they through yet, or are they still?
Okay.
I hear him now.
All right, Bobby, I'm gonna set you up so you can see everybody here.
that?
Yes, we can.
I forgot my hearing aid again tonight.
What are we gonna do with you? I'm gonna have to call you before a meeting and make sure you got all the
Call my wife and
necessary
remind me to
things.
put my hearing aid in.
Yeah.
Huh? No.
All right. Are we good to go?
We're good.
So, this is a follow-up from last month where we had talked about some rate increase requirements. And one of the items was to look at doing an upfront increase rather than do incremental over time. And so I'm gonna present that tonight, and have any additional questions, be glad to answer them. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. I feel fine, but I'm COVID positive, asymptomatic. Everybody else here in the house has got it as well. They're showing symptoms. But we're all okay. We're all mild. So the option one was shown last time. That showed an incremental increase over time, and we added a little bit more to this slide to show what a typical bill would be for a family. It's probably have a family of 4,000 or 5,000 gallons. And you can see over time how it ramps up from 62.96 currently, all the way up to 88.42 by FY27. And option two was, okay, let's try to get that increase all in once. And where would that need to be? So it only needs to be at 78.26 for several years. And since we're generating extra cash early on, the ultimate rate in FY27 is actually projected to be lower than if you just did it incrementally over time. And then on the connection fees, we just added what they would look like over time. Currently, they're $1,500 for a 3/4 inch, all the way up to $3,150 for a 2-inch, and $3,400 for wastewater. Wastewater seemed to be adequate at this time, so we haven't changed that. On the water, the reason 2-inch and 1-inch is showing a higher increase than the 3/4 is we're trying to get the relationship to the capacity of that meter itself. So that's more in relationship based on the American Water Works Association's meter ratios from a 3/4 to a 2-inch, or 1-inch to a 2. And then we updated this graph to show this was the option one for this upcoming year, and then this would be the option two this upcoming year. So it does bump you up all the way up here, but then it doesn't move for 5 years. And then the recommendations is to go ahead and approve the multi-year rate schedule. And actually, I saw in the agenda packet that Jason's only asking for 3 years, not a full 5 years. So this graphic is wrong. It's just FY23, 44, 25. And the same with the multi-year connection fee schedule. But to look at this annually, to confirm assumptions, adjust the rate schedule only if. And so if there are any questions or comments,
Questions from the board?
So to be clear, the multi-year connection fee schedule is option 2.
yeah.
Okay.
That was actually in the original option as well. We had planned on doing that over multiple years. We didn't have an upfront increase.
Right.
He's recommending option two? Is that what I understand?
Yeah. So it appears if we stabilize we know we got to have an increase. So if we stabilize it now, it appears to be a better rate for the customer in the long run. Is that when we get to year
That's correct, 'cause
4 and 5?
You're collecting the same amount of dollars, maybe a little bit more, because you're getting it sooner. And so that offsets some of that cost you would need if you had done it incrementally.
Right. So, not a question, Chairman, but a comment, maybe a question at the end, but it was, we had always talked about being able to pay for expansion and being able to pay for the growth that we know we gotta have. And that was, we put money aside from the budget, from Swalston, from budget to pay for it, new customers and then rates. So was our discussion around going out 3 years now on rates, so that when we got there, we'd see what our customer looked like,
Right.
customer base?
I think that was part of the conversation at the last meeting was instead of doing, I think the draft I had last time showed it out 5 years or maybe even beyond that. And I think there was conversation last time about maybe just doing 3 years worth and then reevaluate as we get to the end of that and see what we need to do.
So that would be my opinion up front is do the increase now for at least 3 years, but I'd like to hear what others think about whether we do the 5 year now and hoping that 4 and 5 years, we've got the money to invest in the expansion and the growth of the system, so that there may not be an increase in year 4 and 5, or do we go ahead and do them all now thinking that will get us to a place where we don't have increases after that? So, we worry about now, do we do 3 years and then may have another increase, or do we go ahead and bite the bullet now and know that our rates are levelized? Because I think everybody needs to remember, we have not raised rates on this board,
Yeah.
in 6 years. So it's hard not to. And I had discussions with people about, sometimes we brag on that, but I've seen it in other areas where you brag on not raising your rates, but you get so far behind on your need that when you have to raise them, you have to raise them at a higher rate than you would if you had a steady rate increase across. And so sometimes smarter folks than us bring our heads back to center sometimes. So
I think, you're thinking the 5 year, knowing where we're gonna be at would be, that's what I'm thinking, rather than,
yeah, because the rate is the same. We know we're getting it for 3 years, but if we go ahead and do it for 5, we may not have a higher increase in year 3, having an unknown in year 4 and 5, and after year 5. We may find that our rates, the collection of our rates, and our new customers, helps us with our system going forward.
So Sam, you mentioned need, and then we talked about expansion. And so my concern is, and has always been from the first time I sat on this board, was that the existing customers pay for expansion for future use. And that's a challenge for me. I think you and I have the bulk of folks that are on the water system, and right now that number is about 4,400. And at $16, that generates an additional $70,000 a year. And that gives us borrowing power of about $1.5 million. We know our water projects are well over 20 million? Close to? Not quite there. So we are a few million short, and we're not short just because we don't have enough customers, just because we don't have enough dollars per customer generated. And even at $16, we don't get really close. One of the things that I've advocated for a while is just a flat water fee. We talked about it from a fire fee perspective years ago, because we know that fire and water go together, right? You need water to service fire, and we haven't had that level of protection because we don't have water there. And even with our current customers and even future expansion customers, we can't get there. So my thing is, needs, current customers, current supply, pay with current dollars. Expansion, everybody should participate in. Tonight the discussion is about adding $16 or the potential of that to a current customer bill of 44 customers, or about, a fifth of the folks here in the county. I would advocate for that water fee across the county, that everybody that owns a parcel, and let's call it $25 a year, is participating in that, because water out to Juliet, water out to the other parts of the south part of the district, and even the, I'm going to say west parts, are important not only for just water protection, water service, but fire protection. And then those dollars be allocated appropriately. Again, there's 16,000 parcels in the county, and at $25 a year, that's not a big deal, but it's a lot of serviceable debt. A lot of money to service the debt for fire trucks, for water, for sewer, and so on, that we can't get out of 4,400 folks. And I know y'all have put together this and have talked about this and have had a plan for this, but this doesn't solve the expansion opportunity or challenge that we may have. It just addresses some capacity, but not the full capacity that we need. So again, I'm always going to say, hey, let's look at where we need to go as a county for everybody, and everybody participate, because you got to take water there anyway. And I don't know that this gets us there. It's a start in a direction, but based on the future real expansion, I don't know that it's enough.
Give me your numbers again. You had 100 and something thousand a year.
So there's 4,400 residents, 4,400 customers on the water system, and I multiplied that by 16 and got to 70,400. We service $1 million worth of debt at about 47,000 a year, so this is about 1.5, and we got $20 million worth of projects. Well, just what we talked about, not need. If we add in what the fire department needed in terms of fire hydrants with water at those locations, I don't know what that number could be. Have you ever looked at that, Don, or places where we need? Yeah. It's a high number, but it helps us get fire protection and water there, because they go together. And my proposal, like I talked about years ago with this board and the previous board, it's a flat fee that we can help the fire department and the water department, and it happens automatically. With the growth of the county, with the tax digest doing what it does, it makes sense that everybody participates in the expansion, because we're all going to benefit. If not, I don't know how long it takes us to get fire protection to the furthest parts of the county. I don't know how long it takes us to get water to the furthest parts of the county. And even the gentleman that used to come from my district, who used to load up the water truck, he's still loading the water truck up. And we're just talking a little bit off of 49. So that's kind of where I am.
So your 70,400 was per month, right? So that's close to $1 million a year.
Right.
So I think our debt was, I think we were talking about water increase, help me out, SPLOST, and new customers gets us to where we can pay the debt on the money needed for the expansion now. So it's basically 1/3 of it on customers now. And I get what you're saying. I see that. My issue is it's a hard sell for, and you mentioned Juliet is a prime example. We're 11 miles from the nearest water line. I don't know that we'll ever get fire suppression through the national forest. Number one, getting it through there. Number two, being able to go that far that's a huge, I don't know that it wouldn't be better off that we get an agreement with Monroe County.
And that may be the thing, but the resources allow us to do that, whether we had to have an agreement with Monroe, like we have a backup agreement with Baldwin County, or we found a water source on that side, we dug wells, and we had a water plant, a small one on that side. Because if we don't, those people still have a challenge. And I don't know how many people live in that area. Maybe that's why it's not such a big deal, right? I don't know.
Yeah, that is one of the struggles is the sparsity of the houses in that area. To run water lines in there, that would be tough. Your ROI would be just...
It would be crazy, but the longer we do this, and again, y'all have lived in this county, you grew up here, I've only been here 20 years. 20 years to get to this point, and Brandon's here, and he's seen some probably exponential growth in some other counties, but you have to bite the bullet at some point, right? And I don't know if it's $16 or if it's 25. At $25 with 16,000 parcels, 400,000, right? But everybody participates in that, and we have the plan to get water protection, we have the plan to get water service out there, and if that includes digging wells, water plants, et cetera, we do that. But that's a constant source that's not borne by such a small group of people to help get it everywhere it needs to go. As the digest grows, and whether you make that a 0.15% or whatever, it grows with that, much like the tax allocation district that's in River North. I'm trying to find a way where 4,000 people don't pay for a system for an entire county. I'm also trying to find a way that the entire county gets water and fire protection that it needs, because we won't get water and fire protection with this. This is just to get us over a hump with a couple projects. And maybe the two go in tandem. I don't know. And I'm not proposing something crazy like that. Not that it's crazy, but it might be necessary. It might be necessary right now, because we're going to pay more for pipe for this project now than when it was first quoted 4 and 6 years ago.
Oh, no doubt.
And at $16, at $1 million, we're still almost 20 years out from servicing that debt completely. So again, I struggle with 4,400 doing it. I like everybody participating, but it might take both.
I think it may take both.
And I agree with you, and I think that's a very valid point, because I think when we start talking about the fire service side of it, you know, water is not the only thing our fire department needs to be great. And I don't think $16 a month is going to get it on residents or on parcels. Fundamentally, I have a little bit of issue with, because I know I'm going to hear, I'll never get water. Why am I paying $25 for something I'll never get, a service I'll never get?
I'm paying taxes and I live on a dirt road. Hey, hey, how many of us do that?
Yeah.
I pay taxes, I get no services. I'm on a chip seal road and they just gave me some potholes. I don't complain about my road because I'm a county commissioner. But if you drive down Cam Joy Cliff Road, it's a fun ride. Don't do it hot
That's a
coffee.
dirt road, and I have to get the dust off my vehicle.
Yeah, that's worse.
You know, there's taxpayers in this county that live on dirt roads that haven't had a mower, much less a motor grader, since last year.
Amen.
Now, and that's
All of that is perspective, to the point of $16 won't get us there, to the point that there needs to be a comprehensive plan. And I'd rather hear about it now, Sam, and know that I saved a house or a life, because I put the resources or the infrastructure there now to get them there 5 or 10 years from now, because we have a plan to get us there. Tim has had these plans for years, and we're finally executing. I'm sure between Brandon and Tim, we can get a plan to get water out to Juliet and vote on that and allocate the funds to get us there. And all the next board do and the next board do is have to execute the plan. Right now, we don't have a plan. And all I'm suggesting is this doesn't get us there. The other one plus this gets us there. I'm not excited about this for 4,000 people to pay for expansion to the whole county. So I couldn't do this personally, not in my district with people on fixed incomes. But I'm okay with, if we're going to do a flat tax across the entire county, whatever you want to call it, fee, and this, I would be okay with that. I'd be much more okay. But I'm going to vote.
I got a question. Couldn't it be left to the voters to decide? Wasn't there a fire tax or something one time?
Yes, sir.
Could it be put on a ballot to get the, rather than force it? Yeah, I mean.
You're about to force water on people. I mean, it's on
I mean,
4,000.
people need water.
But you're talking about expansion, though. You're talking about expansion.
They send these blue pipe in their yard, and they're like, all right, I'm just about there.
But you're talking about expansion. You're talking about current customers paying for expansion to other parts of the county. I don't need water expansion in my area. I got water. But you're asking me to pay for it to get to the other parts of the county. Because that's what this is about. So the existing customers is going to pay for other people to get water. I'm asking other people to participate in it.
I don't think there's enough funds to cover this county to do it. I see where you're coming from, but yeah, but.
It'll never be enough funds if we don't make a decision.
Right.
It's no different than investing $5 million into a park.
And I don't know the history of the last vote, but I mean, it could be something brought to the, does this community, have a fire tax, and to be used as.
Well, can we ask the water customers if they want a $16 water increase too?
I don't get to say how much I'm paying for fuel right now either, so but I gotta have it.
But you're asking the current customers to pay for future expansion. That's the only problem with this. Current customers, future expansion.
I mean, in all fairness, that's been the system since water systems have been around. I mean, everybody pays for the fees. They're not paying, the dollar amounts they're paying is not exactly what they're receiving. So they're paying for a system that has expansion, no more than they're paying maintenance. They may say, I just want to pay for the glass of water I get, not for I don't want to pay for the pumps or the electricity or the pipes or anything. I just want to pay for the water.
I understand that completely. There are seniors in this county and other citizens that have no children in the school system, but they're paying for it. I understand that. But everybody pays a part for that process for the entire county to benefit. Water protection, water services and fire protection, I think is something that everybody should participate in because it benefits everybody. If we never do it, we'll never get water or fire protection there. And are we going to run 11 miles through the national forest? We might not do that, but on the other side, we might be able to drill some wells and get some people in some pocket areas. He's crafty enough, and I think Tim's crafty enough to figure it out. But if we never do something, he can't even think about it because all he has to do is triage right now. He's working on stuff that we should have done. I don't know how Don gets a truck that has enough water to make it the 11 miles to do what they need to do on the other side unless we put the money in those places. And they rely on SPLOST to do it. And we just got trucks, and we're still how many years behind on our trucks? 19 years.
But now, I've got mutual aid where, like in Juliet.
Right, I understand.
I've got mutual aid, it's automatic.
But that's if the train isn't stuck on the tracks and
Right.
you can get across.
Yeah. So again, you guys have probably talked to this. I missed that meeting, so I apologize, but at the end of the day, I look at that, the true expansion and meeting the true need. It's a county-wide opportunity. Again, you guys can make this decision, but it doesn't get us where Brandon needs to go and where Don needs to have protection. That's just my opinion.
I look at it as a, business model, because in business, we have to grow, and raise and grow, we have to have a product sale. If that product's gonna cost more, that's a perfect business model, how I look at it.
I don't disagree with business at all. If we do business that way, I don't disagree. But, again, I don't know what Brandon has on tap. I don't know if he's explored what it really takes to get us there. And I don't know if he has pocket plants of water for the things that we need to do. And I don't know if he's talked with Don about where we need fire services and how we get them there. But I'm sure it costs more than $20 million. It'll probably be closer to 40 to 60.
There's certain,
33 million.
how many roads total in the county? 100, 200, couple hundred roads, miles of roads. You may be looking at 100 million to get to places like in north central Jones where there are residents. And some places out Stallings Road, north end of the county, Putnam County line. I know you have Putnam County water system just the other side of the bridge. But you could be looking north of them because every year the cost goes up. But there's some places that most likely won't have water in 100 years.
Yeah, but again, we're thinking traditional, just run a line from where the source is as opposed to drop a source in that area and then feed those spaces as many as we can and then continue to bridge and build the program until we do. And it may be the agreements with the neighboring counties to provide water and we're paying them like Gray pays us. But it's a service, and at least they have water as an option. I don't know how many wells dried up this year. I don't know how many new calls. I don't know. And I'm not trying to belabor this. I'm just trying to give you all perspective that this is one of those tough times where this is an easy move, but it doesn't solve the problem for water and fire protection. Oh, I rest, sir.
Tim, can I bother you for a minute? You told me a story how Baldwin County did theirs. Didn't they? SPLOST.
Three splashes in a row, somewhere between 15 and 18 million, 19 million.
3 splashes in a row. That's how they pay for theirs, and they got,
That's a real commitment. Our splosh has so many splinters off of it. If we're going to say, all right, sheriff, you're not getting this, library, you're not getting that, courthouse, and we dedicate it to that, yeah, but y'all will get more phone calls the minute you say I'm not going to get the sheriff a car. And the first phone call's from the sheriff, and then the next and then the next, and then the next.
Tim told me how they got, I was curious, he told me how they did it, and shared some ideas.
I would love to do it through SPLOST and not through 4,400 people. I think that'd be a commitment. I'd be willing to commit to the next SPLOST for that,
Still
100%
got
water and
raised
sewer.
rates as a business model.
And I think that I do like the idea of everybody paying for expansion is great, but I think the cost of living has gone up. We've got to raise these rates for the cost of living, what it costs to replace the pipes that are busting, the hydraulic fuel, the employees. I mean, we've looked at and seen what we're having to pay our employees now. I mean, all of those things cost. We've got to have a rate increase of some type. Everybody has had to have increases. The water's just one of those that we've gotten lucky with. But I do see that we do need the fire protection, but I think those are two separately different things too. Let's not say that we're playing for the expansion part of here. This is just a simple cost of living raise on these rates. You're talking $2. I mean,
$16 a month, that's almost a 30.
Wait,
no,
No, I'm sorry.
$3 a month.
We're looking at single dwelling is current 1861 per the schedule. FY
Right.
'23 be 2196.
I'm sorry, I
Right.
thought Sam did it annually. I apologize.
Okay,
So,
you're looking annual.
yeah,
I'm
because he
looking at
said $1
monthly.
million of revenue. That's so not $1 million. It's 77,000 a year, right? Like my first number.
Yeah, 77,000.
Okay, yeah, because I adjusted because he adjusted. I thought he was on $1 million. I was like, wow, $1 million. Okay, it's
No,
not pretty
I
good.
mean, I don't think that anybody, I pay that much more and get fuel every month now too. Well, I
Many
pay a
times.
lot more than that in fuel.
Many times
But
over.
I think that the rate increase, we've got to go ahead and step up on that. Then let's bring this back to the table and calling it more than just a water expansion. I do like the idea of tying in the fire department in with it to get our insurance rates at a better rating.
Brandon, right now, is the water department generating a profit? So, and that's a break even with our current construction accounts that we siphon money off into for construction. So that's why cost of living, I hear what you're saying, but in the background, I know that there's some other things happening, and we're there. This is to help us get to that other place. And I don't have a problem with covering expenses. And again, if this is just annually a $16, not $16 a month, I'm okay, right?
Yeah.
You've been through all that, just let that be okay.
No. I still am advocating for the entire county to participate in expansion because we're not there. And Tim just, I didn't realize Tim was back there. Tim, just out of curiosity, and I'm not going to do this much longer, how much money would it take us to put water in every place that we need to put water? Yeah, he's shaking his head. And that's why I'm saying the county should participate in that part. It's $400,000 a year at $25 a parcel. That's $10 million a year that we get to expand and provide fire protection, right?
Commissioner, that's changed because the Fed has raised even the cheapest rates. We're seeing the GECO are at 2.92%. So
Gotcha.
$1 million is $63,000 a year on a 20-year payback.
So,
It's about $58,000 a year on a 30-year payback.
so about 58,000. So literally at $25 per parcel, we're able to borrow roughly $7.5 million for expansion and growth. That's why we hired him, because he said he could do some stuff and we knew he could do some stuff. And that's why he's here, to make sure that the fire department gets what is needed to protect it. So again, if everybody participates, we can do those things. This is just COLA.
So I think, I agree with your theory there, Lon, I really do. But this project we talked about forever and ever is expansion of water, and when we found out the 3 ways it would take to expand this to get the number of customers. So we made the project fit the money and the money fit the project on this one.
I remember.
And there, when we say we're not expanding fire service, as we expand these lines on out, we are putting fire service in with it, right? I mean, I think this is that,
There
correct, Sam? Yeah. So we are expanding our fire service so that everybody that touches, and it will hopefully help lower our, raise our ISO ratings and lower our insurance ratings. So, but I like the chairman's idea of putting it on a ballot if that's something, because we know we got to look at expanding our fire department all the way around. I mean, as we grow, we can't stick with a traditional volunteer fire department and trucks with tanks of water on them. It just doesn't work like that.
And I don't have a problem with letting the voters decide that, to be honest, but we know no one wants to pay an increase on anything, and it won't be articulated well enough, and we'll have too many people making some tough decisions on ill information. And this is one of those hard things, and it doesn't have to be, but it is what it is. But I understand. We won't get it on the ballot this year because that time has passed. All right. Call for the question, sir.
What do we need to do at this point, Judge?
So in your materials tonight, you have two things related to this. One is an amendment to your water ordinance, and this basically pulls the existing rates out of the code of ordinances. And the second thing you have is a resolution where you would adopt the new rates. The way the resolution is written right now, it goes out 3 years. If the board wanted to go out beyond that, I can certainly redraft this and bring it back at the next meeting. But those are the two things you have before you tonight.
Sam, you and I talked earlier. You want to touch on that, or are you ready?
Yeah, we had talked, and I think I don't know if we're voting on this tonight. I don't know how to. So we had talked some time back about, and I think we had even talked to the city about it being one of our bigger customers, an option of a certain amount, buying more of a quantity for a lesser rate, gives us more of a levelized playing field, so we know how much water we got to have, so we don't have to worry about drawing down our system and pumping our system back up. Because to me, it's kind of like with the utility companies. When it's really hot, guess where the rates are. When it's really dry and you really need the water, that's where the rates go. So I mean, that's where the usage goes. So I think that makes it kind of tough for partners like the city. And I just wondered if that's a thought of getting with the city and seeing if that's a possibility or something they're interested in or something that's beneficial to both of us. To me, I think the city struggles with the quantity of water they need all the time. So they fluctuate in what they buy from us. So I think if we could guarantee an amount to them, that levelizes what we have to produce and what we know we have, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that's beneficial to everybody or what.
Yeah, I think it might make sense for both sides, really, to have some certainty around all those issues.
I think it'd be a win-win for both. Brandon and I spoke briefly earlier about the water levels in the city would really greatly help. We can get them to store more water in those tanks so that we don't get hit all at one time with that peak demand and max out our system.
One other comment, Chairman, about the resolution that's in your packet tonight. The way this drafted, it has these new rates going into effect January 1 of 2023. So if you wanted to have those discussions with the city, there's time before these new rates would go into effect, or regardless of that, there's some time built in there for us to inform voters, inform the citizens about the new rates, should you decide to proceed with those.
I guess do we need to vote on the option 2 is where we're leaning toward just for the future plan?
That's what's in that resolution is option 2.
Okay.
I like that option better. So what are our thoughts on up to 3 years now or 5 years?
I think the 5, and go ahead and levelize it. That way you know where you're at, and then we're not getting a sticker shock at 3, and if we misfigured at 4 and 5, well, it's on us.
Give some stability.
I think so too.
So we need to vote on option 2 at this time.
In 5 years, y'all said?
And the current, and the rates would go up January 1st, 2023?
Yes.
So everybody has time to, it's not gonna be a shock to them that their bills just went up at
Right.
$2 and some.
We may want to ask Ashley when she comes back. So the way I've got it in here is the chart that shows the 3 years going out. She may be okay with y'all adopting it based on the chart in the presentation.
She'll be
So-
back in a minute.
Before she gets back, one question, Jason. So the resolution also pulls it out of the ordinances and puts it to where we have decided now for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, we come back and vote on another rate schedule.
Mhm.
It's not tied to any other.
Right, that's right.
Okay.
And if some, catastrophe was to come upon us and you had to do something 6 months from now or 18 months from now, one resolution, you can change those rates. So, up until this point, it's been in the Code of Ordinances, and so you had to go through and have a formal amendment to the code and do 2 readings and all that kind of stuff. So, Ashley, one question we talked about while you were away. So the resolution that I drew up has the chart with going out 3 years.
Okay.
They're interested in adopting that same resolution, but with the chart going out 5 years. That chart is here in the packet where it says option 2 rate schedule.
Okay.
Are you okay with them adopting the resolution and striking that chart and inserting this one that says option 2 rate schedule, which goes out to FY '27?
Put me on the spot here, Jason.
I'll go back.
You're on 20,
So that one comes out. And then they would use this instead. This one is the same, except it doesn't have these last 2 columns.
Brandon, while I was gonna get you and Tim's thoughts on this. What's your thoughts? We're gonna lean on you a little bit.
Yeah, I can just redo it.
I think that we need
I have the effective date is January 1 anyway, so if you want to just redo it.
something we didn't even discuss at all.
Adopt it next time.
Attached that are in here.
Right.
I also
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this idea. I like that.
You may just redo it.
I like that idea.
Bring it back to the news.
Whether it's voted on or that's fine. I'll have to be on that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that was, I do like.
Okay, thank you, Jason.
Their funds for both. With this percentage going to, short claimants for water and fire. I haven't thought about it yet.
Tim, any thoughts, feedback?
For a couple of years now, the base bills need to be about 24 months now. I think moving that forward now is a good thing. Commissioner Martin, there are other communities that I pay the fire tax, and it usually starts at $60. Some go as high as 75 or 80. And usually it hangs around 5 to 8 years. So, usually it goes because the mortgage come up. Usually what happens. And the Zoomers take it out.
I'm a little more conservative. I know 60 probably is a great number, but I'm a little more conservative than that. I like 60, but I'm conservative. Brandon's smiling too, like, yeah, I could use 60. And I know we could. I mean, literally, if everybody turned on the water in this county, we'd be in trouble, and we know that.
Well, the problem is, the other side of this, the operational side, is suddenly a road with 4 or 5 houses, you get a fire protection, you can't run the 65. So you're gonna be dumping water all over the ground, all over the place to keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh.
Right.
Right.
There's so much of this county that's federal property that, now, will ever develop.
Yeah.
And working around those pieces of the problem.
Yeah, I don't think there's a perfect comprehensive process, but we have to do something to get us closer to that. We may only get to 75 or 85%, I don't know. But if we never do anything, we won't get anywhere closer. I know that much. And I don't, you know how you guys are. I'm probably going to retire out of the country at some point. But I'll still have a house on Camp Joycliffe Road, and my water meter is 300 feet from my house. So I'm not connected to it. I'm on a well. But if that well dries, I'm going to connect. And I'm going to hope that I got enough water, you know, to make sure that my house is taken care of. If not, I'm going to be pumping it from my neighbor's pond. But my concern is, again, Tim, I want to make sure that we have it. I want to make sure that the city's growth has it. Because, again, if everybody turned on the water peak time during the summer, we're in trouble. And we know that, you know, and all it takes is one or two major leaks, and the city doesn't have water. County will, but the city won't.
What's the board want to do?
Mr. Chairman, I talked with Ashley. I think I can rework this chart that's in here and just bring it back to you at the next meeting.
Doesn't go into effect until 1/1.
Motion to postpone until the next meeting, Chairman.
Second.
You want to do all three of them? 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, because we can't do that.
That's what we need, AJ.
One, we had the presentation, so I think you're good on that, but 2 and 3 probably.
Okay, make a motion to postpone 2 and 3, water and ordinance revision and water rate and fee resolution until the next meeting, Chairman.
Second.
Second, any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Let's have it. I'm gonna put a smile on everybody's face. I need a motion to table number 4, Ms. Wagner asked for.
Motion to table number 4, Chairman.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Department heads, who wants to start tonight? Who I got in the back? Don, you want to start?
Yes, sir. I don't have anything tonight.
Wow.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate the support.
Randy? Y'all want to get out here too, aren't you?
A long weekend.
I understand. Jason?
Budget meeting Saturday. Exact times TBD, but I'll get that out to you tomorrow.
After 9 o'clock, please.
Okay.
No,
Waffle
we
House
start,
to be
we
served.
start at 7 o'clock. Let's get this over with.
Waffle House.
People ain't sleeping until 9 o'clock in the morning.
Mayor Pro Tem, it's customary to invite the city up and get a report. Would you like to come up?
I do want to say,
You shouldn't sit in the back of the room. You wouldn't have so far to walk.
speaking just as me,
That way, because nobody can hear you walking up the aisle. Just briefing you totally.
I do want to express, I think that there is an opportunity with the water, like you discussed, as maybe just speaking on behalf of myself, not on behalf of the whole council. I would hope to see Chairman Widener or all of you come to one of our meetings, one of our committee meetings, and maybe have something to present. Brandon, invite you all to come out and maybe work on something that we could do something like that. I do think it's a great opportunity for a win-win. Like I said, someone's dowsing rods weren't working when they put us right where they were, because it can be tough to extract water out of some of that ground. So I do hope that y'all will come and present some kind of plan that we could work together on that.
Sounds great.
I appreciate y'all tonight on everything else, though, as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Rhoda?
I would encourage you all to complete the appointments for the Historic Preservation Board so we don't run into the same problem we did before with the 3-member board, now that we have our new panel in place where we have 5 slots.
One of them's mine, isn't it? I think.
It's 3 members.
I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying,
I'll call Miss Earlene.
we
when she's
do
up.
have 2 more openings.
Ms. Arlene already committed.
How did we,
I know, but she said she's gonna have some ideas. If the board's got any ideas, anybody that'd like to be on that, or this audience.
do we do it by district, or we have all 5 work at large?
I think they're all at large.
So I think you don't have to.
So it ain't on me then.
Not only on you, it's mostly on you.
And
I
there
was blaming it on Daylon since he
I was
hadn't
gonna
been
say, There were
here.
a couple, we've had several people express interest in it.
Okay.
But we have a 5-member board now, so let's fill that board up.
Yeah. So do we need to put out a call for
more?
a call for interest?
That'd be great.
Letters of interest or something like that?
Yeah, 'cause we could get-
Because we put some good guidelines on what we're looking for in experience and qualifications and that, so.
I bet we could get a little help from the press too, what we're looking for. Don't hurt to ask. Might cost me a hug, but it, is that all?
Yes.
Wagner? Citizen comments tonight. Anyone like to come forward? No one? Sure.
Good afternoon, how's everybody doing?
Thank you for
Afternoon,
coming.
good news.
We'd like to see you more often.
You probably will.
We have a spot on the historic board.
I got a couple of questions.
Sure.
I heard you all talking about the water and wastewater management. I don't know enough about, because I've not been up here enough times, but I didn't hear any comment about future land use development. What are the long-term 10, 5, 10, 20-year projections on how you'd like to direct growth? You're talking about countywide water. Well, to me, you need a blueprint where you want to direct growth. The second thing I didn't hear anything about is you're 10, 19, 20 years behind on certain projects. I didn't hear anything about capital outlay and capital improvement budgets and what to set aside going forward. The third thing is I was expecting my speed breakers last week, and I'm here to see if you can. I understand that Mr. Cannon has been out sick, so I'm just checking back on that part.
I don't have any information on it right now, but I can check in the morning and let you know.
Okay.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you for your participation. Anyone else? Mr. Kitchen, you want to start us off tonight?
I think that's-
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see. Come on, Jeff. I'm sorry. I looked too quick.
We live out on Union Hill Church Road on the south side, not County Road.
You need her to introduce herself.
Yeah, not.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, if you don't mind, she needs your name and address.
Margaret Thornton, 979 Union Hill Church Road, Hillsboro, Georgia. And it is in Jones County.
It sure is.
Yeah, you know,
The
don't you?
farthest point in North.
She could probably testify to it too. That dirt road out there is a joke. Grass is this high, no ditches. You go down the road, bump, 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 bump. You go across Cedar Creek Bridge, well, we call it Cement Bridge. You go across there. There's a pond that comes down. Up until just a few weeks ago, because the pond was up and it's low now, it's running across the road. We got it like this right here. Why? You go past a little bit farther, there's a culvert out there that's been out there since last year, since the storm, that's washed away. There's no post there, no nothing. Grass that tall, you can't even see it. You come down the road, up the road, you don't know where that is, you're going into that ditch. And it's about yay deep, because there's a creek down there. It's tied up now, but there's a creek. You go up the hill, every time it rains, the road washes out up there. No ditch. You go down a little bit farther, the parts of the road ain't no bigger from here to there. Why? It's not nobody's never complained, nobody's never said anything. And when they come out there, they don't scrape the road. They brought a tractor out there with a bush hog on it and cut the grass. They didn't scrape the road. They didn't pull the ditches. What am I paying taxes for? People at the Public Works, these bosses know about it. I'm not asking anybody to do any more than what I expect. Y'all want to add fees for us to get Water, we never see it, never. But you want to add money, and we don't even get service. I spoke to your secretary, I think that's what it was last year. She was nice. They come out there. Yeah, that's when they come out there and push the rocks up out of the road. Every time it rains, it goes right back down in there. But y'all don't seem to care.
Ma'am,
Why?
if I get your number, I'll be more than happy. I'll touch base in the morning.
Jason and I have gone out and in my Jeep, and we came out there, we looked at these various situations, and that was back in what, June? We looked at it. I don't think anything has transpired with.
Oh, no,
Works.
the only thing that's different is the
That's
water's
what I'm
not
saying.
running
We'll go ahead
properly.
and get her
We
number.
made a trip out. Jason and I made a 2-hour trip out there, and we walked a lot of that road. And I don't know where it's at in the public works, but you know they'll grade from Hungerford Road up past Stellan's house, turn the motivator around, and come
Well,
back.
that's a-
And north of that, there's nothing happening.
That's a quick fix. I'm supposed to say, if we can get your number, contact information.
he's got it.
I have it.
Okay, all right, well,
And,
good. We got
and
your
like with
contact.
my bus, it comes from the lower end of Shoal Creek Road all the way up to where Johnny Skinner's at, where the road's not fixed at, and Hillsborough Lake, and.
You know how the road is
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I mean, what she spoke of the roads is exactly how it is.
It is.
I promise you in the morning, first thing, that would be, priority. Commissioner Wood or myself, Warner, Jason, we'll make sure, and we'll get contact, let you know where we're at on it. That's fine.
And I also like to know about the City Creek, the bridge.
The Wood
When are y'all
Bridge.
gonna see about it?
And then at DOT, we're waiting on them.
I think eventually we're going to try to get money from them. Tim is working on a hydrology study to determine the size of the structure that's needed there.
And how long's that gonna take? I mean, it's almost been a year. Do you realize the distance from our house, having to go around, Humford Road, down to, well, you know how it goes, you Humford Road, Hillsborough Road, Hadaway Road, down Union Hill. I mean, but I see everybody else has got everything, or wants this, and you wanna add another fee to us? What are we getting out of it? We can't even get a road scraped, much less taken care of. And you was talking about schools. We don't even have children in school. We shouldn't even have to be paying taxes. We shouldn't even have to pay a $25 fee y'all talking about. Unless you're gonna guarantee me I'm gonna get water out there. And now, I never see it during my lifetime. I'll probably never see the bridge fixed in my lifetime. But yeah, y'all wanna keep doing this, and doing this. And I pay taxes just like everybody else does. And we don't get nothing, we can't even get the road scraped or get the bridge fixed. It's not like I'm asking for a lot. And this has been going on for years. Mr., the older man, that Mr.,
Hawkins.
he's retired. I can't think of his name.
That did the,
But anyways, whatever his name, you call him, the problem was solved. When Clayton was there, the problem was solved. You call now, okay. How many times do you have to ask, or do you have to get down on your knees and beg? I mean, really. This has been going on for years, and you get tired of it, but yet you want my taxes. And if I don't pay my taxes, you're gonna take my house, you're gonna take my land, but I can't even get you out there to scrape a road? I mean, I don't understand.
We are limited in our citizen comments by our ordinances.
No, I'm done. That's
But
Yeah,
they're
no.
definitely gonna follow up with
We'll
you.
get a call, Johnny, you've got the contact information.
Oh, he's been out there, he knows.
Okay,
John
well,
Lowe's
what I'm
been out there
saying,
and other
Johnny,
people's been
we'll
out
test
there.
on it, we'll check on it in the morning. We'll be able to give you a report exactly when and where, and go from there.
Well, I appreciate it, but I don't see why we should have to go through this. I'm
All
through.
right, well,
Thank you.
we're sorry for your trouble, we really are. Anyone else? Ms. Kitchen, you want to start us off tonight?
I don't have any comments, Chairman.
Wow,
Just happy to be here.
same there?
I have a little bit.
Oh, go ahead.
I will keep it brief. What Ms. Thornton spoke of is the gospel. I have problems. I've had a dozen calls in the past week, and it's all, no other departments get complaints, but it's Public Works. So Jason and I talked the other day. We've made trips out to their area, beautiful part of the county. Invite everybody to go out there, but go after the road scrape, because it is, I mean, there's boulders like cantaloupes in the road. You'll bust your tire. It's just simple maintenance, if they need it. grass, south end, Flat Shoals Road. Chambers Road gets maintenance, mowers. Salem Miller Church Road gets maintenance. But Flat Shoals seems to be missed every time. They haven't had a mower since last year. They maintain but what they can, but they can't get it all. So we've got some challenges that we've got to work through as a board because we have people paying taxes and aren't getting essential maintenance in certain areas. But, and I look forward to solving these problems with the board.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Ms. Vaughn?
I just want to thank the water department. I know that this weekend they had a lot of working hours of overtime on top of a full week that they already had. I think most of them got pulled away from family on Friday night and spent most all day on Saturday working too. So thank you guys for us. We appreciate it. Glad that you got enough employees in there to be able to do the work to get it done in a timely manner. So thank you. Public Works, I'm out there driving them buses now, so you know I see it. So I will say I was on my route for the next few weeks is Luke Smith, Chapman, R.L. Wheeler, Baker, Confederate, all of those areas. So I will be looking at those roads well. Just remember, big yellow buses are out there rolling too. Keep our kids safe, and I work on my end of that at my real job too, keeping them safe. So that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Commissioner Martin?
First day of school. Thank you guys for getting our kids on the bus and safely, and for everybody else around the county for making that effort work. Public Works is an issue. I literally drove by the guy on the tractor at Clifton Ridge. I called John because normally they cut the grass before school starts, and the grass wasn't cut. When I say the grass wasn't cut, I'm talking 3-4 feet on, why can't I call it? Dusty Lane. Thank you, Dusty Lane. And so I rode by the guy on the way into school, and I got in the parking lane. On the way out of the parking lane and waiting for my child to come out, I rode by the guy who was in the same spot. So I called John. I said, hey, John, what's going on with the guy and the mower? Is the mower broken? Because he hasn't moved. In the 35 minutes I was in the car parking waiting lane at Clifton Ridge, because it's up the road, by the way, the guy hadn't moved. Now, I could have stopped and probably knocked on the window, but I wasn't sure if he was asleep or on the phone or waiting on some other service. I don't know. But I didn't go back to check and see if the grass was cut. So her grass is in her neighborhood, but it's a road issue. Our grass is where our kids walk. They can't walk on the sidewalk. That's another big issue. And he told me that the equipment was broken. I'm not throwing John under the bus, but he said the equipment was broken. If our equipment is broken, then we need to prioritize the things that need to prioritize, like getting the roads straight so people can ride on them and get our kids there safely, but also the sidewalks so our kids can traverse them safely. I want to follow up with John as well, so I want to call him tomorrow too and ask what happened, if the mower is in fact working appropriately, and do we have enough mowers to do the jobs that we need to get done around the county. And Jason, I'm going to ask you to do that as well. There's an app, ma'am, that we're supposed to be able to put in issues with Public Works, sir, and those other people that have never heard of it. Is the app up and running? Is there any accountability that John and I were asking about when we had that first meeting over a year ago at the Betty Knox Center about that app and where the projects are? So I'd like to know, is the app up and running? Is there any accountability? And how can citizens check the status of their requests for road scrapage, culvert fixing, or whatever else? So and we're going to follow up with John too.
The app is up and running, and same as we talked about in the Black meetings, it gives you a complaint number that you can go back and plug in and see the status.
Because I know we tried it at one point, and I know when I tried it in a meeting, it didn't do what it was supposed to do. So, and I haven't looked at it since, but I'm going to check. We also need to communicate that with citizens so they know how to say, hey, my speed bumper's broken, or I've got a boulder in the road, or I got something else going on. And then we need to be able to circle back and say, hey, Jason, where's the report? And maybe that report needs to come to us weekly so we can see where the status of those projects are. And if John has an issue with equipment or material or resources or personnel, let us allocate those to make sure that they get done. So, thank y'all for good work. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I make a motion to adjourn meeting.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and participating.
I've also been a tree in there for 3 weeks at the Union Hill Church.